Hello, I'm Rachel, and this is my Sawbone healing guide. In my opinion, Sawbone healers, even before 1.2, are the best PvP healers in Star Wars: The Old Republic. They're quick, they can heal on the run, they have multiple escapes and little tricks to stay alive. My build's more of a PvP spec. I went 31 into Sawbones, 3 into Scrapper, and 7 into Dirty Fighting. Like I said, I have a PvP spec, so what I decided to do was put my points into Scramble, which gives you a speed boost when you use the ability Dodge. You should be using this ability quite often, especially if you're getting focused down by a marauder or an operative, and it really gives you an edge in getting away from those encounters instead of getting ganked. Even for PvE, I still use the same build. It's just more effective for what I do. It's a little bit of a crit chance that you can get with diagnostic scan. Just doesn't seem to outweigh the cost of a respec and the hassle of just moving around points for one ability. The points that I put into Scrapper are basically just for survivability. You get a boost in self-healing, which is mostly for PvP as well, so I can keep myself alive, so I can keep my teammates alive. The 7 points I have in Dirty Fighting were mostly the small alacrity boost, a little bit of tech crit, but the main reason I put points into Dirty Fighting was to be able to put points into Dirty Escape. Dirty Kick will have a shorter cooldown and will also have a speed buff, so you can use it as a more effective escape. The cooldown goes down from 45 seconds to 30 seconds, and that 15 seconds can save your life. Right now for my Pve gear, I'm using mostly Clomai, Ricotta, and Black Hole gear. It has a lot more critical and surge than PvP gear. It also has a lot more endurance. What I've seen in operations, especially explosive conflict, the crit surge, the huge heals are really what you need more than quick mobile heals. You also need the endurance boost so that you can withstand having some of the untauntable bosses hitting you, things like Bone Thrasher, ads, or anything like that. Alacrity isn't really a big stat to focus on in PvE. My activation speed's good enough, and I need the bigger heals for the PvE in-game content. It just seems to be more of what I'm doing as a healer, those big single target heals, or topping off my group with my AoE heal. For PvP, I'm using mostly Battlemaster. I believe my offhand is champion, and one of my relics is champion. I also keep a PvE relic, the residual mending relic, which really helps out whenever I get a proc on that. I can heal for an extra 400. Which has saved lives, and with the quickness and madness of PvP, that can make all the difference. I do stack a lot of alacrity for PvP. split-second decisions are really important, and being able to heal faster is important. The crit surge that I lose on my Battle Master set compared to my PvE set seems to be a lot, but the PvP bonus that I get from having a lot of expertise stacks seems to sort of level out the playing field, and I'm not usually healing for too much less than I usually would in a big heal for PvP. My rotation is pretty simple for PvE. I usually like to start engagements with 2 stacks of Slow Release Medevac. I'll usually use an Underworld Medicine and then trigger Pugnacity so I can be continually regenerating energy. And I usually just keep a nice steady Underworld Medicine emergency Medevac rotation. I fill up my slow release Medevac every 2 or 3 rotations of Underworld and emergency Medevac, just to make sure that I can be taking advantage of the chance of having upper hand stack every time the slow release Medevac ticks. And also in PvP, a lot of my healing is done through slow release Medevac, and it really comes in handy making sure that I keep everything up and having as many stacks as upper hand as possible. Here's a PvP match, Hutball, kind of putting everything into practice. I do cast a lot quicker and do cast more in PvP, but I still like to keep my energy levels hovering around that 60, making sure that I have pugnacity always used so I never run out of energy. I don't find that energy is a problem in PvP. I rarely have to use Cool Head. There's a lot of panic moments in PvP you'll run into, and you occasionally have to use Cool Head, but for the most part, if you follow your rotation, you shouldn't run into any problems. Keeping slow release Medevacs on at least one player is very important so that you can make sure that you're constantly getting the chance to take upper hand. Every time you have upper hand, you get a free instant heal, or you can trigger pugnacity if you don't already have it. And it also is a good way to kind of keep people topped off. In Hutball and other PvP situations, just being mobile is the name of the game for the Sawbones. You have to be constantly moving, making sure that you don't get focused down and that you don't get killed, because a dead healer cannot heal the rest of the team. A lot of the times with just solo queue or queuing up with only 1 or 2 people that you know, you run into a lot of people that won't put guard on you, won't peel for you, so you have to take care of yourself, and every little thing that you can use really helps. Making sure you have your defense screen up and self-healing, that should be put together in your skill tree so you can keep yourself alive. Making sure that you use dodge, making sure that you use disappearing act at the right time, dirty kick, making sure that you don't over CC someone that's chasing you, because escapes really are what keep Sawbones alive in PvP. If you follow these rules, you should never die in PvP unless you just get focused down by the entire group. Another thing I like to do in PvP is sort of run distraction. Since I know I can heal myself and I'm communicating with my teammates over vent, I can kind of run in and sort of distract the Imperial players here on this node, start to focus me first, and don't realize that I've brought a group of people with me. They slowly realize what's going on, they get DPS down rather quickly, and we're starting to take control over mid. I just basically try to make sure that I keep myself alive while using slow release Medevac on my teammates. Most of the group here are focusing me, so most of the heals, the big heals, I put on myself and make sure that my teammates stay topped off. Notice how I just keep moving, kind of kite them around, make sure that I keep my stacks of slow release on myself, and just kite them around this node and then get DPS down. As you can see, Sawbones can be wonderful healers in PvP. You'll out-heal sages, you'll out-heal troopers, you'll out-heal anyone if you just keep yourself alive and follow the rules that I have given you. Make sure that you watch out for not over-CCing if someone's chasing, making sure that you use your defense screen and your dodge to get out of situations. A lot of the times you can make yourself last a lot longer by just simply getting out of a fight for 10-15 seconds and coming back in. Lastly, I want to talk a little bit about my keybinds that I have on my quick slot. I usually keep the important things on my main bar. I have my auto run on my tilde key. I still use WASD to move around. I know it's not a popular thing for more hardcore players, but that's just what I've been used to, and that's what I like to use. I put my auto attack on my 1 key. That's just been committed to muscle memory for such a long time. I don't use it that often, but every once in a while I have it there, and it's a nice cue for my fingers. My big important heal, my underworld medicine, I like to put onto my 3 key. It's really easy for me to hit with my hand, especially if I'm moving forward and just have to stop, and I can just press 3. And more importantly, my emergency Medevac I put on my 2 key, which is even easier to use, especially if I'm just kind of strafing around with my WQ and E key. I put my pugnacity, which is very important to have, on just Shift E. I have my hand in that general area most of the time. My 3 keys for my heal, I like to strafe a lot with my E key, so having that there is really quick and really easy. Dirty Kick is also on Shift 2. That's also very easy for me to activate. My Disappearing Act I like to put on Shift S. It's really easy to activate, and it's right there where I'm moving anyways, so that one's a really important one, I feel. Shift A is for my cool head, and Shift D is another CC move, my flashbang, which is very important. I like to put some of my offensive abilities in nice close situations too. I've got my F key for my Black Bass and my Shift W for the Blaster Whip, which is an easy one to activate. The rest of the keys can kind of be moved around. I have mine the way that I have, as you can see in the photo, but those are easily moved for preference. But if you play with WASD, the most important abilities that you're going to be using are all really easy to touch if you put your keys in this order. This was my Sawbones healing guide for PvP and a little bit of PvE, and I hope that you found this to be helpful, and if you have been considering going Sawbones spec with your Scoundrel, maybe this will inspire you and help you out, and maybe keep you alive a little bit longer, or help you easier manage your heals, or just clean up your rotation a little bit. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.